Alright, welcome back to Berlin. It's turn 9, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, continuing the battle. We have two faltering brigades right now, one French right here in the center with the French Léger after they got crushed by that cavalry charge, and the cavalry pulled back out of range. Well, at least none of those artillery pieces. And then von Meyer is still faltering after he soit-que-pu'd last or soit-que-p, I don't know how to say it. He faltered last turn. Just continuing. I could have done a chief of staff and got more ADCs, but I think I might need them. And we've got a lot more French coming on the table. Also, I've replaced one of my Austrian Dragoon squadron with my new Russian Dragoon squadron. Just came on the board, so they're awesome. We'll see more of them. Nothing changed stat-wise. They're the same thing, just they got a facelift. We also have a French Young Guard regiment from the 8th Division, but they're actually attached to the 9th Division. They will be the 4th Brigade in that division. They've arrived on table. At the end of this turn, or in the reserve movement, another French cavalry division, or well, the new division will arrive, but only one brigade of it will arrive in the center here. And wow, a lot of stuff going on, and the French will be, they're gonna have 4 full divisions on the table versus the Prussian and Russian 3. Alright, General Mouton had won the initiative for the French in turn 8, so he'll roll his corps orders first, and we'll go from there. 3 1s. Looks like my dice have not heated up in the meantime. I'm going to break out that corps adjutant, who's terrible. Let's see how he does. Going to re-roll the red die, see if I can get that. Alright, Mouton will end up with the red dice and the white die for the corps orders. We'll flip over to Bulow and see how he does. He ends up with the red and the white dice, so that's where he's at. We'll flick over to the French now, and then we'll roll for all 4 divisional commanders. Alright, Pouthard gets 2. Rochambeau gets 4, and Decouze, he gets 4, and then Carbonneau gets 3, or 2, sorry, Carbonneau, I don't know. EAU, I can't remember what the heck that says, beaucoup, so we'll figure it out. Alright, time for the Prussians. Let's see how their 3 corps, or 3 divisions do. Bobengarten gets 1. Hesse-Homburg over here gets 3. And Thuman over here gets 3 as well. So, could be worse. That's alright. Alright, we'll continue on to see what the orders are for each French division. Alright, Pouthard's going to do an infantry assault and a reroll. Once again, for the 4th time on MacDonald, going in against the Prussians over here in the woods that have come to stop them 3 times before this. He's also going to spend his last case on this battery to reduce it from 6 casualties down to 4. And yeah, that's what we got for his 3 brigades. Alright, all 3 of his brigades are active, and that's amazing. Alright, now we've got a faltering brigade for Hesse-Homburg, for Rochambeau. I did screw this up last turn and Scott caught it. I probably screwed it up for the last 4,000 games of General d'Armée. Before you even start counting your ADCs, you have to pay a 1 penalty or immediately. So he goes from 4 down to 3, and now he's got 3 ADCs to work with for his division. He's going to give a re-roll to Decouze to get another chance to rally. Then he's going to do an infantry assault and a re-roll for Jarry with the Neapolitans. He wastes 2 double 6s there. Lindenau, once again, with the Württemberg guys, or Württembergs, whatever. They are hesitant again. They've been active for, I think, 1 turn, maybe 2. I don't know. It's been pretty sad. So they're shut it down again. But everyone else is active, and these boys rally to hesitant, which is the most important part. Carbonneau with the Cavalry Reserve Division will come on in the reserve movement phase. He's just going to spend his 1 ADC to re-roll them coming on the board, the cavalry. So they will arrive, and then Decouze, he's got 4 ADCs. Mouton is also going to give him the red die, kicking him up to 5 ADCs. Alright, he's going to send an order across to these gentlemen to go forwards, infantry, assault, and glory for Marshal. They're from the 8th Division, I believe, but he's sending them in anyway. The 9th Division, but they're going to be the 4th Brigade of the 8th Division. They're going to go straight ahead for those Russians. So that'll be... Now we'll just do forwards and infantry assault and a reroll. So that'll be 4. And then we'll do the 5th to do a reserves on the Young Guard Brigade under... who's that? That's under... Colbert. No, it isn't. That's the old guard. Sorry. It'll be Carbone. So he'll come on. He's a bold brigadier, so he automatically gets a reroll. That'll go off without a hitch. Lacoste will be going forward and charging. And then I think it's Marshal will be coming in with the 1st Brigade of the 8th Division with 4 battalions of Young Guard. He's a bold brigadier commander. They also have an artillery battery with them, so more French guns arriving. So, oh boy, it's going to get crazy. Alright, for these gentlemen over here, it's going to be simple. Not Baumgarten. This is Hesse Homburg. He's right over there. He's got 3 ADCs. He's going to play the 1 ADC penalty because of von Mayer being hesitant, being faltering. And he's going to do stand with me, and they're going to be getting it. So that falter will immediately come off. The other 2 brigades will each roll 1 die to see if they are following commands. Both Russian brigades are going to be active, which is phenomenal. So Ilowowski and Kreilsheim. Was Kreilsheim faltering too? Oh no! I forgot he was. Stand by. So I have to re-roll all this again because I forgot there's 2 faltering gauge. So that's 2 goes with a penalty. Wow. I was going to use the white die to get caissons going for Thuman, but I'm just going to need the red die over here to Hesse Homburg so he can get re-rolls on both of his faltering brigades, and these guys aren't active yet. That they cannot play that. I'm going to give him back that CNC command. All right, let's try that again with 2 faltering divisions, and the green dice and the red dice will be the big ones. All right, they're both going to rally, and they're both going to be hesitant. So that's going to be a penalty on initiative. Okay. I was all like, yeah, I got this figured out. Then I looked into Teltow, and I forgot the artillery up there on the hill got blown away at the end of the last part of the battle. So, oof. Okay. So now we've got 2 hesitants. These guys are active here. Ilowowski. And yeah, that's different. All right, now my plan's got to change over here with Thuman. He's just going to put a... he's out of... He needed those caissons. This gun's about to go down here, so that's kind of rough. He's just going to do a reroll on all 3 of his brigade commanders just to try to not have a negative benefit on this commander. All right, Baumgarten's got 1. So he's going to use a reserve tasking and bring in his last, or at least going to try to bring in his last cavalry brigade. So von Linnensing is active, and now von Reynick with 3 more Prussian dragoons. So we're going to actually be 3 Austrian dragoons, actually 2 dragoons and 1 cuirassier. They will arrive on the table, I'm guessing right about here, probably the best idea. You can only come in 18 inches off the center, so we'll probably try to exploit this gap here. It was such a simple game with just 2 divisions aside. Now we've got 7 divisions on the table. Getting a little bit crazy for Cocoa Puffs. I'll get used to it. Written time for probably this to be over, but it's going to be nuts. And now for initiative, Prussians will be rolling 3d6, taking a lower 2, and French will be rolling 2d6. Valiant effort by Bulow, but he will lose initiative again to Mouton. French will go first. French will be charging. They have 3 charges. We'll start off with Lacoste, our Young Guard Brigade over here. They just came in from Scott's Table. That would be the south central sector of the battlefield, where the French have defeated the Russians at 12:30. And this particular brigade didn't even get into the fight. They just moved on over here, and they have arrived. Now they're into the fight immediately. All right, the French surge forward, the Young Guard. Wow. These skirmishers fall back. They will fire 4 shots as they come in, and then we'll get a volley from these line troops into the lead 1st Battalion of the 4th Brigade of the 9th Division, excuse me. Also, this French artillery moved to the top of Windmill Hill, and they have, they're not going to be able to fire this turn, of course, but they're up there working on limbering. Skirmishers do a casualty to the French. Now that Russian line battalion will fire at the oncoming troops. Those Russian troops have a straight up panic attack as this Young Guard Grenadier battalion, well actually the whole brigade, comes slamming into them. The French are Grenadier level. I think the Russians are line. Yes, the 3rd Battalion, 1st Brigade of the 6th Division is a line brigade. Let's roll up the charge and see how it goes. The Russians will get a re-roll from their support battalion. The French will get 3, and they'll get a 4th for being a higher troop grade. They're a Grenadier versus line. After the initial clash, the French and the Russians both have a 6. French are going to lean into their superior quality as troops and re-roll their 2. French are up 9-6. The 2nd Battalion for the Russians gets involved. Going to try to re-roll that one. I think it's a 3. French are winning by 1. They could re-roll their 4 or their 5. They have several re-rolls left. Not a lot of risk versus reward benefit here. They're going to go ahead and just take the combat with Elan versus, I think it's combat unformed. We will come back to this at the end of the turn for a hand-to-hand. Go on to the next charge. Neapolitans, yes, going in here against these gentlemen. Support and support. Prussians will have supports as well. So we will get a closing fire with 5 casualties from this Prussian line unit. They will do 2 casualties onto them, knocking them up to 3. So that neither one of those has a negative impact. So now we'll get both sides rolling 2, both sides getting 2 re-rolls. Neapolitans almost get the perfect roll with an 8. Well, perfect would have been a 12, but an 8 is nice because you can re-roll that 2 easily. Prussians stink up the place with a 3, but they have 2 re-rolls. They can beat those very easily. Prussia's going to go first. 3rd Battalion, 2nd Brigade, 7th Division rushing into the combat to help out their brothers. Alright, they're up to 6 versus 8. They're going to re-roll that 2 now with this follow-up brigade here. This 1st Battalion, 2nd Brigade coming in behind. Alright, they get lost in the smoke. There's been a lot of hand-to-hand over here. A lot of bodies on the ground. They must be tripping over people. It's a mess. Alright, so they have no impact. Right now, the Neapolitans are up 8 to 6. They're going to go ahead and try to re-roll their 2 as their reserve, the 2nd Battalion here, so it's actually the 3rd Battalion, 2nd Brigade, will go on in. Have 0 impact, and now the 2nd Brigade back here, or 2nd Battalion, they'll come on in and try to have an impact as well. That'll be a win by 4 for the Neapolitans. I think that's a retreat and withdraw for supports. Let's make sure. Yeah, this brigade will retreat and take 4 CDs. These guys will withdraw. These guys will withdraw. Both take 1 CD. They're going to inform these gentlemen here at least. Neapolitans under Jarny are victorious. They drive back the Prussians for the 2nd time. They couldn't capitalize last time. They all went hesitant, couldn't follow up. But we've got a 3rd Battalion of the 2nd Brigade is back here with 2 casualties unformed. These guys are in retreat status. This is 2nd Battalion of the 2nd Brigade. They're up to 9 casualties. And then 1st Battalion of the 2nd Brigade, 1 casualty unformed, and 2 of the units running through these gentlemen of the 4th Battalion. They're unformed. They didn't take any casualties. They are reserves, though. So their tip of their spear is reserves, and Thuman's standing there wondering why everybody just ran right through them. Pretty much a clean shot now. Nothing's in the way, but there is cavalry approaching quickly to try to fill this gap. All right, now the Swiss try it again. Let's see if they can do it for the 4th time. 4th time's a charm. All right, as this unit comes in, they will be fired upon by the Prussians, who have fire discipline. And 7 casualties. This will be a single CD with an extra CD for a attack column. No effect. Okay, here come the Swiss. Let's see what they can do. They have 2 supporting battalions. Prussians have 1. Prussians are worn, so they're going to be rolling 3 dice. Oh, Swiss coming in hot. Swiss finally hit a home run. They get an 11. Prussians get dropped down to a 6. They're going to use their 1 supporting battalion to go on in and try to support that, beat a 3. Great support by that reserve battalion. They go in there and they turn that frown upside down. They're going to lose by 2. They're going to combat, this unit up front is going to combat unformed with, they're worn, they're unformed, and they have fire discipline. And we'll see that at the end of the turn. Alright, it's time for movement now. French moving first, and then reserve movement and all the movements. Alright, holy cow. Both armies are on the battlefield. I think the only thing off table right now is Guard Cavalry. 3 regiments. Everything else is here. What a nightmare. You saw this guard coming in from Scott's table, pounding into the Russians over here. These gentlemen, they're hesitant, but they're able to get rid of their retreat status, and now they're still hesitant, but they're formed. This cavalry peeled back to the left to hide. They didn't want to charge in a second time quite yet. They wanted to go for a double cavalry charge, I think. These guys slid to the left to shield them. They threw their skirmishers out in front of the guns to take a whack. Those guys kind of sat there now that this line division's right in front of them. They're hesitant. Not much going on over there. They are hesitant back there. French cavalry coming on the table. That's French Guard moving off to the north. Probably going around those trees. Attack the Prussian right. They got the Swiss in hand-to-hand. Neapolitans in hand-to-hand. These gentlemen won the hand-to-hand. These guys are back here. another cavalry squadron, 3 Prussian cavalry squadrons, actually Austrians right now, but I got to put up markers on them. They just showed up. Wow. And we'll just go around the table here. Good stuff. I got to take some pictures after this just because there's so much candy on the table. I'm kind of pumped. I'm up to 6 coalition cavalry regiments now. So that's something. And here's the other French Guard brigade. This is the 2nd Battalion, 9th Division under Marshal. He's a bold brigadier. These guys are grenadier. And then next to him, who just came in under Carbonneau, is Rothenberg. He's the 1st Brigade Cavalry Reserve Division. He's a standard commander. He's got 2 regiments of dragoons, 1 of Lancer and 1 of Chasseurs à Cheval. And we still have like heavy Imperial Guard cavalry off table. Those guys are hesitant. They're hesitant too. Oh, what a nightmare. Okay, that's cool. I think I did make a mistake on initiative. I think the French should have paid a little penalty there. I forgot those 2 guys are 2 hesitant brigades in 1 division, but can't catch them all. But just remember that if you have 2 in a corps level game, if you have 2 hesitant brigades in 1 division, it's an extra die, and if you have 1 faltering brigade, that's an extra die. All right, picture time. And this is von Reineck with the 1st Brigade, 8th Division, I believe, or the 1st Brigade. Hang on, 1st Brigade of the Cavalry Reserve Division. Excuse me. So he's got 3 brigades or 3 regiments. I have a typo on my cards that messes me up, but that's okay. They are the 1st Brigade. So he's got both of his brigades on the table now. That's, what's his name? Oh gosh! It is Baumgarten. He's in command of the 3rd Prussian Cavalry Corps Reserve Division. Alright, after that insane movement phase, we're on to skirmish fire. Those gentlemen can't fire in there because these guys were all involved in the melee and the charge and everything, so they're neutralized. These Neapolitan did move to the front, and they'll fire 4 shots at this reserve division, or reserve battalion. These guys go up to 4 casualties now. Now we'll get these skirmishers that advanced ahead of their brigade. They're going to fire, well, they're going to lose a shot for firing into here. So they normally have 4 shots, or 5 shots, going down to 4. No effect against that artillery. We'll get these skirmishers here. Oh, they're on the other team. That could be it for the French, though. That's it for the French. So we'll get them in a minute. These guys are firing across their own troops. They can't shoot there. They're out of range, so the garrison is not firing from Tel Tau. These 4 Jaegers bases will fire 5 shots of that Leger. They go up to 2 casualties. They get 2 more casualties, up to 5 now. Great shooting by those Jaegers. Now we've got these Jaegers firing at the artillery. They're going to fire at the gun on the left, try to put some more casualties on them. They'll take 4 shots. They take a casualty and go up to 4. That'll end the skirmish firing for this turn. We will go on into artillery firing. We'll start with these batteries back here with the French. Both of these guns will fire at that artillery on the left. The artillery on the right is blocked by those skirmishers up there. So they'll do 1 CD each, though. They'll both miss and have no effect on that artillery battery. These guns are going to fire canister into these skirmishers, and there will be what's it called? Oh gosh, bounce through. Sorry, I had a moment there. Alright, so here we go. Both guns firing canister, but at inferior blast because they're firing at skirmishers. They do 4 casualties. They'll do a discipline check on those skirmishers that are down to 2 bases with 1 casualty. And I forgot the bounce through, so I'll do that first. Those guys suffer 2 casualties here. Discipline check here, looking for a 7. They go unformed and take a 2nd casualty. Never a good thing. Alright, that ends that shooting for those guns. And then the last cannon over here has nothing to shoot at. They should have rotated and I forgot to do it, so that's on them. No shooting there. French guns. These guys will fire at the straight ahead at those gentlemen. That's just outside of canister range. They take 4 casualties, took an extra CD because they're in a column at effective range. They take a discipline check now after that massive hit. They're going to save it as reservists. They're going to get unformed after that hit. Oh, that was nice shooting by those gentlemen. Alright, we'll go with the last 2 Prussian guns. These guys are going to fire a canister at the skirmishers. They are worn, so they're going to lose 1 level there, and they're firing at skirmishers. They're going to fire a single CD with 2 extra CDs for canister. They do 2 casualties and blow away a skirmish base. And this last battery is going to fire at the guns on the right. I think they're both equally damaged with an inferior blast from the redoubt. Great shot. They go up to 7 casualties. They got to take a discipline check now, saving as reservists. They go unformed. That'll finish the artillery phase. We'll go on into volley fire. We've got a few units to fire volley fire. These 2 battalions will both fire a single CD at this regiment here. That'll have no effect at all. And then this Leger battalion will fire at these skirmishers. They'll go down to an inferior volley, but they'll get an extra CD for being drilled. They'll do 2 casualties on the skirmishers, and that'll end volley fire for everyone except for these guys here. I was like, wait a minute. These guys will fire and split their fire between these 2 units here. Actually, we'll just have them fire into these guys here. They're more in the center. They do 2 casualties on them, raising them to 4. Alright, that'll end volley fire. I'm 99% sure. Yeah, we'll go on to hand. We'll start over here and we'll end with the young guard over there on the right. On the French right, excuse me. So the Swiss going in with a lawn against the Prussians. Prussians will end up with 3 dice because they're unformed and they're worn. And the Swiss will end up with 6 dice because they have a lawn. The Swedes take the ground finally. They get 2 casualties. They go up to 6. Prussians take 3 casualties. They fall back and retreat, unforming their reserves behind them. They're up to 10 casualties back here with the rest of the people that got blown off after fighting Neapolitans. So Swiss and Neapolitans breaking through out here. And woof! Okay. Now we've got the final young guard against the Russians on the far southern flank. Alright, these guys are going to be unformed, probably throwing 4 dice. French will be throwing 6 dice. Not sure if there's a benefit for Grenadier versus Line. The Russians repulse that attack. It's a draw. They both do 3 casualties each other. These guys are 3 and they're unformed. They hold the ground. These gentlemen are pushed back. They unform those guys. They move through them. They have 4 casualties now. Great stand by the Russians. That'll end turn 9. We're going on to turn 10, and it's 1:30 in the afternoon here at the Battle of Berlin. Woo! A lot of troops on the table. I think it's the French numbers are swelling. They've added 2,400 infantry, probably about 1,000 cavalry, and And then 8 more guns have come on. Actually, more than that, because there's actually 2 brigades. So they've added 5,600 infantry and 1,000 cavalry and 16 guns in this turn. So that's pretty nuts. Alright, it's finally the weekend. Yes, time off work. It's time to play some crazy amounts of GTA. This should all be done today, in my time, on Saturday. Hopefully you have this out tonight. Let's get crazy and let's do turn 10, 1:30 p.m. We'll start off with Mouton, Corps ADCs. He gets everything. He's the boss. Alright, let's go over to Bulow and see how he does. He gets the blue and the black die. Alright. Well, let's make it work. We don't really have a choice. At least Mouton didn't have to use his core adjutant this turn. That's pretty big. Alright, we'll start off with ADC availability for the French. They have 4 divisions on table. Let's see how they do. Poniatowski ends up with 3. Corbeau gets 3. Decouze gets 4. And Rochambeau ends up with 5. He had like 3 6s. Really good, buddy. He needs to get something together here. Alright. This goes over to the Prussian-Russian side of things to see how their 3 divisions do. Bulow is sad. Once again, he cannot deploy a caisson to help out Thuman's artillery battery up here in the redoubt with 8 casualties. Poniatowski's going to keep it simple and just do 1 ADC for all 3 of his brigade commanders and try not to be a burden on Mouton. Geneve's 2nd Brigade of the 31st Division goes hesitant in front of those gentlemen there. Everything else is active, and we'll go on into we'll slide over here, I guess. We'll get to the big boys later on. Alright, let's see what Rochambeau can do. He has 5 ADCs. Yes! He's going to do a reroll on these 2 brigades to his right, continue to deny the deny the flank over there, and then we're going to push on with Jarry in the 2nd Brigade. He's got 3 ADCs, so he's going to get a reroll, an infantry assault, and a glory. So if you can believe it, Lindenau shut it down again. I think he's only been active for 2 of the 10 turns. That's sad. The Württembergs are not too excited to be here. They're probably secretly negotiating with the coalition. It's like, hey man, you got room for us? I hope not. Maybe just got command confusion. Alright, that division's done. And the Neapolitans will stream in once again. Wow. They're doing it proud down there, baby. It's going to do a forwards, and this is, Corbeau with the cavalry. And he can't reach anybody. He's just going to do a reroll, a reserve, bring in his last brigade, and a reroll for them. So the Guard Cavalry Brigade will come on there with 3 brigades of Guard Heavy Cavalry. These gentlemen will be just wonderful. And I think that's it for them. The Coos is going to play Chief of Staff. He's going to re-roll the 2 ADCs he missed, and then gain 2 additional ADCs. So the Old Guard Brigade is going to come on here with the reserve tasking. I don't know if the reserve tasking comes from him, from the divisional commander. I think they can still get the extra ADC for the forwards, so that'll spend 2 without disrupting their bold brigadier status. I'm not sure about that one. He's got 8 ADCs to work with, so he's got 6 more. He'll do a forwards and a re-roll on Marshal with the Young Guard Brigade from 2nd Brigade, 9th Division. And then what are we going to do over here? Hang on. So we'll do an artillery assault and a re-roll on this elite battery up here on Lacoste Brigade, allowing time for his boys to become formed again. It's hard to charge in when 2 of your battalions or half your brigade is unformed. Everything's active for that brigade. The artillery assault's going to go off. The Old Guard's going to come in with a forwards tasking. And this Young Guard Brigade is also going to get a forwards tasking. So, boomy. Alright, French are done. They only had 2 hesitant brigades. They both weren't in the same division, so no negative penalty on initiative. I won't screw it up this time, I hope. Thuman has 3. 1 for each brigade for a reroll. Just, he's got to keep it together and keep holding. Keep inflicting casualties. Everything is active for Thuman. We'll flick over to Hesse-Homburg. He only has 2, but he does have a bold brigadier. So all 3 brigades will get a reroll. All of them are active. Alright. Mouton is going to spend his white die and activate a spy who's sitting near Hesse-Homburg and make him reroll all 3 of those brigades once again. Do that once a turn. Oh, what a sneaky bugger. There's a Frenchman in there. He just knocks over Hesse-Homburg off his horse. The spy is immediately stabbed through the chest with a saber. Can't have an effect. Everything works perfectly for the Prussians and Russians. Sorry about your luck, buddy. Everything's active over here. Baumgarten is going to do a forwards tasking on these guys with no reroll, just so they can charge those légers. Sending the cavalry in again, charging the French. And these guys, both of them are on their own with no rerolls, so hopefully this works. Von Linsiden goes hesitant. That's huge. Oh, they won't be charging in. These gentlemen will be charging in over here with the fresh. They're technically Prussian dragoons, but they're dressed up as Austrians. They will be going in under von Reynick. My boy, that's a powerful name right there. Both sides will be rolling 3 ADCs. 2 dice each for initiative. No negative modifiers on these. Bulow is going to win initiative, which is great. He also uses the blue die. He's going to ride the line and come down here, so these guys won't be hesitant. I don't think they're able to reach anything though, but still he's going to cancel that, and he didn't have anything else to do, so he's going to get rid of that one right now. 1st Regiment, 1st Brigade, 8th Division, Prussian Dragoons, charge in. They couldn't afford Prussian uniforms, they're an Austrian, but they're going in against those French in attack column. Those guys might be recruits for all I know. They have 2 casualties, and they are recruits. They're enthusiastic recruits. They're very enthusiastic as they get charged by this cavalry. Alright, cavalry, dragoons, charging in against French recruits in line. The Prussian cavalry is battle cavalry. They're line class. And against those recruits in attack column. They're going to stay in attack column. That's where they're at their feistiest. Not even bother trying to form square. Let's see how they do, baby. So in the charge, being charged by battle cavalry and you're in attack column gets the French a reroll. There is no, since they're not veteran or elite, there's no reroll there. The French will have 1 support, so the French will get 2 rerolls. The Prussian cavalry will get 2 rerolls from their 2 supporting units. The French get a 7. The Prussians get an 8. French can use their first reroll to reroll their 2. No, yeah, they have a 2, yeah. Oh, the 2nd Battalion comes in like a boss. They get a 10. I think that's really good. They're going to probably love staying there. Prussians going to try to reroll their 2 as their 2nd support on their right. That squadron or the regiment joins the combat. It's going to be tied 10-10. Might not be worth the risk on the last roll. I think that's just going to go to hand with no modifiers for anybody. They will brawl at the end of the turn. It's going to be a good one. All right, baby. Let's see, the French did a good job repulsing the initial attack. Let's see if they can survive the sabers chopping into them. That was the only Prussian charge. The French have 1. It's from the Neapolitans as they move on in and attack the Prussian reservists who are unformed. All right, Neapolitans coming in against this 4th Battalion, 2nd Brigade, Prussian Reserve Battalion. Prussians have 4 casualties. They're unformed. Neapolitans have 3 in their line. And Prussians are not supported at all. And we'll get 2 for the Neapolitans. Prussians will fire an inferior volley with 1 extra CD for an attack column attacking them. These Prussian reservists are still pissed off from when they lost in the earlier campaign against the French. They take out all their hate on that volley. 3 6s, so they do 4 casualties, raising them to 7. That's going to add all kinds of dice to this charge. Plus, these guys have to take a discipline check now as reservists. That Neapolitan battalion staggers as they become unformed. They're worn. They're smoked. Now they're going to take a destiny roll for the Prussians. See what happens here. I thought that was the Death Star blast. Wow. Well, that's the greatest roll ever. They recover a casualty. They can take a free move. So they're going to reform, and they're going to 3 casualties. These reservists are probably special forces dressed up as reserve uniforms. They were waiting for them. They spring their trap like it's nobody's job. Scott was telling me about the system that the Prussians used to keep their army low. They would rotate in reserve units and then rotate them out so they could keep their army below the minimums that Napoleon set them. It's called the crimper system or something. These guys are probably the best recruits ever from that whole system. All right, now we do the hand-to-hand. I think the French are rolling 4d6 and the Prussians are rolling 2d6. The Neapolitans will take the lowest 2 dice. But they get too cocky and they leave the door open. All right, the Neapolitans have 2 supports. They have a 3 right now, and the Prussians are sitting at a 5 on this hand-to-hand. Wow. Here comes the first reroll as that flank battalion gets involved in the fight. They rerolled a 1 and get a 4, so they're up to a 6. Now the trailing battalion, the rear support's going to reroll the 2. And somehow the Neapolitans are going to win anyway. These guys are going to retreat, and I think they take 46 casualties. Guys retreat behind these other units. These guys were in, some of these units were in retreat status, but when the unit was, when the brigade was not hesitant following commands, they went to unformed, and then they can reform in the movement phase. These guys won't be able to. All right, so the Neapolitans take the ground. They can advance a little bit, and that'll end the charge phase. We'll go on into the movement phase. Got to check the 2 French forward bonuses. They're going to need 1 for the Guard and 1 for the Guard Cavalry. All right, here's our overhead view. Prussians back here after getting beat are reforming, except for that one you just got beat this turn in the charge phase. The rest of the French continuing their en echelon attack. We'll get another look at that from the other side. But they're moving forward. We have a Young Guard brigade and an Old Guard brigade now, both sending their skirmishers into the trees to fight those Jaegers in there. Quite a significant firing line of artillery's showing up here. Is now Mouton has built up 32 guns to begin bombarding that redoubt up there to finally take it, so his boys don't have to get smoked. Both French cavalry squadrons, or brigades, excuse me, moving up. We now have the Guard cavalry here. These gentlemen are still hesitant. Leger formed square in the center there. We've got skirmishers who move forward to cover them. Over here, another Young Guard brigade. Russians sent their skirmishers out to engage the artillery up on Windmill Hill of the French. These gentlemen back here, they are veterans, so they changed into attack column and moved 9 inches. They're heading towards the French up there. These gentlemen are still holding strong in Teltow. These gentlemen are here, got the artillery there. The cavalry move forward, so they're out of gun range, musket range, but they'll be in range to do a charge next turn. They're kind of looking at that square going, and right behind them is French cavalry. Just kind of stayed stationary here in the center because they're hesitant and the Prussians aren't going to attack anybody. Those guys reformed. Everybody that was unformed reformed. That was the key with a lot of unformed units here. And that's it. As we look at where the big push is, where the en echelon attack was going in, just wave after wave after wave. We've got a French brigade here coming in. You saw the Neapolitans coming in. They're actually passing up the Prussian brigade over here, the 1st Brigade of Thumann's 7th Division. It's getting passed up, and then coming around the corner back there, the Guard heading for just the flank. I'm sure they will continue their attack here and just deal with the Bauerhof, the Faulenschweins. So looking a bit ugly. Whew, pretty sweet stuff. I'm going to get some pictures, and then we'll get into skirmish shooting. All right, in the Battle of the Woods just south of the Bauerhof, the Faulenschweins, Prussian Jaegers engage French Young Guard and Old Guard skirmishers. They're going to fire at the Young Guard, dropping down to 4 shots. All right, no effect in the trees. Just kind of scanning down the line here, looking for other skirmishers. All right, we got one here. 4 bases of Jaegers firing into the light infantry of the French with 5 shots. French are now worn with 6 casualties. These guys, nothing in 12 inches that doesn't fire over their own troops. They're still holding fire. And then we get the Russian skirmishers firing 4 shots of this artillery. They inflict a casualty on that battery. All right, that ends the Prussian skirmish shooting. Now we get into French skirmish shooting. The Guard has 4 skirmish bases firing at these Russians here, so 5 shots. For the 2 casualties on those Russians, that's the 3rd Battalion, 1st Brigade of the 6th Division. They're up to 5 casualties now. We've got the skirmish line from this brigade and the Neapolitans both firing at this artillery piece here. The Neapolitans have 3 shots firing into a redoubt. Do a casualty raising them to 2, and then the other guys have the exact same thing. They'll have 3 shots firing into a redoubt. Alright, fighting in the woods. The Old Guard has 3 skirmish bases. They would take 4 shots. They'd lose 1 for firing in cover, but they gain 1 back because they're elite. So they'll get 3 shots. The other guys are down to 4 shots, the Young Guard skirmishers, with their 4 bases. Alright, the Jaegers suffer 1 casualty. Alright, now the French gun line. They're a bit battered. They do have horse artillery. They can fire with 1 CD. They rolled up. They're elite. The next battery is a Young Guard battery, which is also Guard artillery, which is elite. And then we have 2 beat-up batteries. This battery, they all want to fire on that redoubt. This battery would have no effect because they're at long range and they're worn, so they're like negligible. They have no other targets, so they can't shoot. But these three, two of which are elite, will all fire one CD, I think. I'll have to check to see if elite gets anything extra into that redoubt. But actually, it's the I forgot the Prussians won initiative, so they will be firing first. Yeah. These guys fire canister into the Neapolitans. Get it, son? Great shot. It wasn't an inferior blast because they're firing at skirmishers. Let's see what they do. Do 4 casualties. They blow away a base. They force a discipline check, and there's 1 additional casualty on that Neapolitan line that we'll be withdrawing next turn. Alright, they pass. This battery can fire a single CD. They'll shoot at the most damaged unit over there. No effect. Well, I'm sitting here and I've already done the math in my head. Let's do these Young Guard. 3 of the batteries all pounding this gun up here from the Prussian 2nd Brigade 7th Division. They'll end up doing 4 casualties to this Prussian line battery from the 2nd Brigade of the 7th Division. They are destroyed, which will falter 2nd Brigade of the 7th Division. Oh no, it's my new boy, von Plotz. Very sad. 2nd Brigade, 7th Division. They're in here. They are now faltering. That doesn't, that's not good. Alright, this Prussian artillery piece is going to try to vaporize that gun at effective range before they do damage to them. The Württemberg artillery gets shellacked. They're up to 7 casualties. They're warned. They get a discipline check now as reservists. Oh, they pass. Amazing. Alright, that's the end of the Prussian and Russian guns. We've already fired several of the French cannons. We've got these guys firing canister into these lines with penetration into these guys, which is never a good thing. There's no bounce through into this unit, but these guys took 6 casualties. They get shellacked. They're up to 8. They've taken 2 discipline checks, 1 from each battery to pass. They become unformed as they get hammered by artillery. Wow, never good. Alright, and we have this French gun that's now worn. They'll fire an inferior shot against these guns. They will get bounced through into this Russian line battalion of the 4th Battalion, 2nd Brigade of the 6th Division. No effect there. Alright, now we've got this elite battery up on Windmill Hill firing canister on assault fire into the skirmish line with penetration into that unit there, which is going to be ugly. Probably hit this unit just to stay closer away from the French. They blow away a base. They're going to force a discipline check on the skirmishers. They also inflict a casualty onto these gentlemen here, and ouch. Skirmishers passed our discipline check. That'll finish artillery fire for turn 10. We'll get into volley fire. Prussians firing first, and Russians. Actually, the Russians will fire first. This line right here, they'll fire against skirmishers. It'll be an inferior shot into the skirmish line of the Young Guard. They'll do 1 casualty onto the French. These gentlemen down here, they will fire everything they've got into these gentlemen here before they go kaputs. They're unformed and they're worn, so they're going to fire a single CD. No effect at all. And now this Prussian line down here, they will fire into the Swiss with just 1 shot. No, just regular shot. They're good to go. They absolutely pound the 2nd Brigade of the 2nd Battalion of the Swiss Brigade for 3 casualties. They go up to 9. They got to take a discipline check as reservists. Swiss are running out of steam. They're up to 9 casualties now. They're unformed. All right, that might be it for Prussian line fire. These two attack columns for the Swiss will fire back at this Prussian reserve unit. They do one casualty to them. Neapolitans have already fired. These guys have skirmishers in front of them. These guys are in hand-to-hand. Prussian Légier will fire a well-disciplined volley, but inferior because they're worn at the skirmishers in front of them. Two casualties, blowing away a skirmish base, leaving one behind, forcing a discipline check on those Jaegers. Which they fail. They'll go on form, take another casualty, so they'll have one base with two. That'll finish volley fire for this turn, and now we have hand-to-hand. I think we just have that one fight over here as the Prussian Dragoons, dressed up like Austrians, are going to go hand-to-hand with this unit here. Alright, the Prussian Dragoons will be firing, will be rolling 6 dice. The French recruits will be rolling 5 dice. Alright, Prussians win. They drive the French back, who retreat back there, where they have 6 casualties now. The Prussian cavalry has 3 casualties, and they take the ground. Alright, and that'll end turn 10 as we go on to turn 11, and it's 2 p.m. Alright, turn 11. Let's roll some ADCs. No, we're not. Let's roll some core orders for, starting with General Bulow, because they won initiative last turn. I do have one quick correction. I forgot to fire the French recruits when these guys were charging them for their closing fires. We're just going to roll. The white die will be the shooting die. The black dice will be the extra CD for firing an attack column. Get lucky there. No changes to our known reality. Let's get going, and we'll roll Mouton's 4 core orders. Mouton ends up with the blue and the white dice. He can't spend the white this turn because that's not even Mouton. He's somewhere else. Or is that him? No, sorry, not Mouton. Bulow. There he is. He spent the blue last turn, so all he gets is the white die. I'll get to roll all 4 of these, and let's see how he does. He gets everything. He might have to relocate there. It's just got that square between him and that Russian and Prussian cavalry bearing down on him. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll start with Prussian. We'll roll for all 3 of the divisions' ADC availability. They do pretty good. Hesse-Homburg gets 4, Thuman gets 4, and Baumgarten gets 2. He missed one of his. Thuman will have to pay 1 ADC penalty because he does have that faltering brigade in his division. Our throw for the 4 French divisions to see how they do. Alright, General Pouthard gets 3, General Corbineau gets 3, General Decouze gets 4, and once again, Rochambeau on his game gets 4 as well. Alright, start off with Prussians and see how their brigades are doing. Thuman has no C&C commands left. He pays the 1 penalty, so he ends up with 3 ADCs availability. He's going to do a reroll on all 3 of his The orange will be the clue, will be the key one, because that'll be von Plotz's 2nd Brigade. He rocks it out. Von Plotz goes back to hesitant. Everything that was retreating clicks over to unformed in this division, and that's good. We'll go over to Hesse-Homburg. Bulow is going to give Baumgarten the VIII Corps order dice and change his divisional order from defense to straight up attack, so he can cross the midline. So that is the 8th Division. They will kick it into overdrive and they can cross the line and start attacking French over there if they'd like to. We'll go ahead and roll for both of his Baumgarten's corps before we go over to Hesse-Homburg. He's got 2. He'll use his 2 orders to do 2 rerolls. 8th Division's all active. Cavalry can start moving forward and having some fun. Alright, now we go over to Hesse-Homburg. I don't even know where he's at. He's in here somewhere. Oh boy, he's kind of got mixed in there with everything else. Yeah, let's have a little bit of fun here. He has 4 ADCs. He's got a bold brigadier, so we can do a little bit. We're going to send in Ilowowski. Those guys are kind of just beyond, intentionally behind the halfway point. So let me take a look. Hang on. Yeah, he can't attack them. They are just beyond the midline of the table, and he doesn't have an order to move forward yet. So we're gonna do. I'm gonna think about this. All right, it was a lot simpler than I thought it was. I was making it more complex in my head. Ilowowski will get a reroll. Von Mayer will just get a forwards tasking, try to get out here and support against the Young Guard. And also we'll get a reroll here with Kreilheim. So that'll be it. Alright, everything's active there. Cool. Okay, going over to the French. We'll start off with Pouthard. Just going to give a reroll to all 3 of his brigade commanders. Keep it simple. Geneve goes hesitant right here with his 4 battalions. So he's stuck. Rochambeau is going to do a reroll with these 2 over here, and then an infantry assault and a reroll on the Neapolitans, who are basically spearheading the entire en echelon attack. Alright, Jarry is going in again. Neapolitans charging into those broken down Prussians with 10 casualties. Mouton gives his red ADC corps order to Decuz, who's going to continue his push on the left. Forwards and forwards, Young Guard leading the way. They'll give a reroll to the Young Guard brigade over here. And I got to think about that. Yeah, let's do that. That sounds good. And these guys get an automatic reroll being bold. These gentlemen will just kind of be on their own over here. Everything's active, and Rousseau with the Old Guard will be going forwards, and so will Marshal with the Young Guard 2nd Brigade. As they come around, they'll be popping up on these guys right over here. Corbignot's going to do a forward and a glory on the on Rotenburg's 1st Brigade Cavalry Reserve Division. They're going to go and charge those guys if they can, and these guys will just be on their own, but they are bold, so they get a reroll. French just have that one hesitant brigade. I can take that one off from before. And I think the Prussians and Russians didn't have anything. So they have one from the faltering from before. So boom. Both sides are rolling 2d6 for initiative. French will win initiative, and we'll go into charges. And I think French have 2. All right, the French Lancers lead the charge against the Prussian Dragoons. They're not supported to the rear. They attack the unit on the right. The Lancers are flanked by 2 Dragoon squadrons and supported from the rear from a Chasseurs à Cheval squadron. This is all battle cavalry, throwing down like there's no tomorrow. We'll see if there's a countercharge. Let's get it going. Well, that looks insane. Just cavalry going crazy. Infantry just kind of getting out of the way. It's a brutal fight. I love it. And of course there's artillery in the middle of it all. Yeah, the Prussian cavalry will be going next. They'll be trying to attack somebody. Alright. We'll roll some dice. I gotta figure out the math real quick. Alright, the French Lancers have 3 supports. The Prussian Dragoons, who are dressed like Austrians, have 1 support. Let's see how this goes. Prussians on the initial charge put up a heck of a good resistance. They roll an 8. French come up with a 4. Fantastic. Dragoons coming in hot to support. They're worthless. Alright, next Dragoon squadron coming in. They tie it up. 8-3. Alright, Chasseurs à Cheval at the rear. They jump into the fray as well. There's no real negative benefit to, or negative penalty for the Prussians not trying to go for it. They're going to re-roll their 3 now that the French are winning by 2. Prussians do a great job. It's going to be close to combat. They'll see them in the next round, or at the end of the turn. Come the Neapolitans, they're going to charge this Prussian line battalion up here behind the Bauerhof des Faulen Schweins. Prussians are going to fire an inferior volley with 1 extra CD into the Neapolitans. They straight up panic and get fire discipline. Alright, Prussians will be rolling 3d6 because they are unformed with 10 casualties. And the Neapolitans will be rolling 2. Neapolitans have 3 supports, the Prussians have 2. Prussians get a 7, Neapolitans get an 8. The Neapolitans are going to roll their first, or roll their 3. First battalion goes in and just doesn't have much of an impact. Second battalion going in, trying to support. Actually, you know what? There's only 1 support because you can only have 1 to the rear. Neither one of these are flanks. So they're stuck right there at 8. Neapolitans get, the first battalion goes in trying to beat their 2. And that's going to be rough. Alright, they're going to win by 3. These guys are going to withdraw. These guys are going to withdraw. These guys are going to retreat. These guys are going to basically leave the table. They're on the edge of glory. They've been beaten back twice already. They're done. They're going to fall off the table. They're all 1st Brigade, 2nd Brigade, 2nd Brigade. Oh no, that's not good. Okay. So that nightmare falters the 1st and 2nd Brigade of the 7th Division. Von Plotz and von Bedro, both in trouble. Von Bedro is basically surrounded back here with the old guard and the young guard about to come in on his flanks. He might be surrendering. Oh no! All right, that'll end the charge phase. We'll go into movement. We'll do the 2 forwards bonuses for these 2 brigades back here. Those brigades get a good move around the corner there. They're threatening what's left of this brigade up front. I did forget to do the Prussian charge, so we'll go back to that before we do any other movement. They're not going to charge the square. They're going to try to attack the French artillery that's out front here. Or they rush in against the French double battery. 16 guns unloading canister into those Prussian dragoons in the front. I don't know. Attacking the square is pretty insane, but attacking artillery point blank is probably nuts. The guns are going to get canister fire from both, plus 2 extra CDs each battery. for firing a canister, and then an extra CD for firing into a column for each gun. Holy cow, they take 9 casualties. 90% of the regiment is blown away as they rush in against the artillery. They still make 2 discipline checks as reservists. They fail that and become unformed. They go into the charge, and this is going to be horrific. I think they're going to be rolling 4d6. French guns get an 11. Prussians get a 3. They can't re-roll the 1s, so they do have 2 supports. They'll try to beat the 1. Sorry, they can't re-roll the 1. They'll try to re-roll the 2. First squadron has no effect. My brand new Russian Dragoons going in next. The cavalry will withdraw. They'll all take 1 CD. The artillery will stand. They will take 1 CD each, and we'll go from there. We'll do the Prussian cavalry first. Of course, the 1 casualty was the Prussian Dragoons in the center. That's their 12th cavalry, 12th casualty. That'll falter the brigade, and the other guys will fall back 18 inches. Neither French artillery piece will suffer a casualty. Oh, it wasn't worth it. Russian cavalry ends up back here, faltered. Probably start thinking about supporting a retreat to prevent casualties from happening. Don't want a repeat of Grossbeeren and Blankenfeld. They just got smoked. All right, French guns. They rolled amazing. I don't know. I was like, should I attack the square? Because attacking a square, you have to win by 6 no matter what. So if you roll over a 5, it's automatic. If you roll over, get a 6 or more, you automatically repulse it. Maybe even a 5 or more. So that would have been a horrible charge. They just would have taken many casualties, but they wouldn't have done anything to the square. Cavalry, artillery, maybe they roll crappy and pull it out, but that was not crappy rolling. That was amazing shooting, and they shredded that horse flesh. All right, go back to movement. I've already done a little bit over there, so we'll just continue the movement. All right, after movement, we saw the French Young Guard moving and taking the flank, basically, of those gentlemen. They're in a pocket. They're in like a salient because the Neapolitans are behind them. They've got French, they got Swiss in front of them. They got French to their right, French to their left. There's no really place to go there. It's looking kind of ugly. We got the hand-to-hand that's going to happen here. French cavalry continues to, infantry continues to move towards the last redoubt. The Léger formed attack column. These gentlemen are supporting them. French cavalry, guard cavalry, have moved up into the center there, preparing to run down what's left of the Prussian middle. These guys have held stationary. These guys use their forwards order. They move forward. Just with their bonuses alone, they could get to there. They're just moving it to support these gentlemen who lost their skirmishers last turn because of too many casualties from the artillery. And these guys came out from behind the building, and that's about it. Oof. All right, it's getting ugly. 3 faltering brigades, 2 for the Prussians and Russians. All right, skirmish fire in the trees. We got the French Guard skirmishers fighting against these dudes in here. These Jaegers that are holding the trees still. We've got 4 bases of Young Guard skirmishers and 3 bases of Imperial Guard. Each one's able to inflict a casualty on them, and they take away, as they knock a tree down. They knock a tree down! They blow away a skirmish base that had 1 casualty on them already. 4 Young Guard skirmishers firing 5 shots at these Russians in line. Russians take a casualty. They go up to 6. They're now worn. That ends French skirmish fire. We've got 3 bases of Jaegers. They're going to fire at that damaged Léger on the far left. They'll get 4 shots. Whoops, before they shoot, I forgot I got these guys up at the... Oh, the Neapolitans are going to withdraw. They only get 2 guys. So the these gentlemen here will fire 3 shots at those artillery pieces. Guns go up to 3 casualties, and now that'll end the French skirmish shooting. Now we'll get these 3 Jaeger bases firing 4 shots. They'll have no effect. You got these Jaegers in the trees. They'll fire at the Young Guard. They have 3 bases, losing 1 for the cover. They'll 3 shots. They'll have no effect. And then the garrison at the Bauerhof, they Faulen Schweins, will fire at that Young Guard column as it goes by. They take 0 casualties. Oh, so they take 1 casualty. I'm sorry about that. Going to artillery. All 4 French artillery pieces are going to fire. They can shoot at really these guys here. They have far enough separation from everybody. Those guns are elevated. They are in range. They're going to shoot this battalion right here with everything they've got. The Horse Guard artillery piece goes low ammo. Thankfully, they can get a case on and get rid of that. These guys take 4 more casualties. They're at 11. They got to take a discipline check now as reservists. They go unformed. The other French gun is right here, which is pretty significantly damaged. It's going to fire an inferior shot with bounce through with these Russians. No effect. And then we'll get canister, not artillery assault. We're going to pick it up from last turn. They'll fire into those gentlemen right there. They take 5 casualties. They are now warned. They're up to 6. They take a discipline check as reservists. They're able to keep it together over there. Last French gun, or last Prussian gun, will fire canister into these skirmishers here. It caused 2 casualties and forced a discipline check on those skirmishers. They fail that, go inform, take another casualty, and lose a base. So go into volley fire. These 2 Swiss units will both fire 1 CD into these gentlemen here. They raise them to 2 casualties. We'll get these 2 these 2 attack columns firing CDs into this guy. They have no effect on those gentlemen. We'll get these 3 skirmishers. Will fire. They can't fire at skirmishers, so they can't do anything. Or these attack columns, they can't fire at skirmishers. So they sit there and look at them. Probably charge next turn. And that's it for French volley fire. Russian volley fire. We'll get a warned volley into those skirmishers. They do 2 casualties and blow away a skirmish base. These guys will fire a warned volley into these gentlemen here. Have no effect. And then those Prussians over there, as my daughter's playing piano, we'll have some background music, I guess. I don't feel like telling her to stop because I'm almost done with this turn. And they'll fire a volley into the Swiss that are, they'll fire the ones on the right, the ones close to the trees. Plus she was playing Anchors Away, which is awesome because I'm in the Navy, or was. Do 2 casualties on them, raising them to 11. So that's, Swiss unit is 1 away from being bye-bye. Maybe the retreat to the second line. I should have done it last turn. Okay. Yeah, that's it for volley fire. Last thing we've got is this hand-to-hand cavalry scrum. Should be awesome. The Lancers get a little bonus in here. Plus the French had glory going in. So that should be another die. Nope, it's only Lancers with a lance. They don't get anything. Or Lancers versus foot. So the French will roll 6. The Prussians will be rolling 5. Both sides get 2 casualties. So they're going to fight on. These Dragoons here will join the action, and so will these Dragoons. So it's going to be Dragoon on Dragoon on Dragoon on Lancer. French cavalry reach deep down to their French onion soup and wine and just pull out a home run. They get 9 hits versus the other guy's 2. Win by 7. These guys will have 3 casualties. They'll have 1. These guys will have 7. These guys will have 6. And I think they're pretty much going to get incinerated. Yeah, both of these cavalry squadrons are going to retreat off the table. That'll be 2 of the 3 brigades. So this brigade will shatter. So von Reynick will flee. And that, yeah, that's horrible. It basically has a falter on the brigade, but it's gone. So they'll pay a penalty next turn, but it's just horrible. That's 4 basically routed brigades across everything. It's yeah, French are pushing in from all sides. General Bulow, he tried his best to defend Berlin. He held out as long as he could. He held out till 1430, beginning of turn 12. He is going to go ahead and surrender. And most of his trying to try. Well, he's trying to organize a withdrawal as best he can. But he's not even. Whoever's left will surrender. But his boys are going to try to get the heck out of here. They do have 2 cavalry, light cavalry on the field. The other cavalry, 2 of those squadrons were relatively intact. They might be able to. Plus, they're holding all 3 built-up areas, so they can probably use those to screen them. But the French are pouring down their necks with cavalry out of everywhere. They're doing a pincer movement with guard on both sides, and they're just going to get hit by artillery as they're trying to run. So it's going to be ugly. I'll figure out the casualties from the retreat, but it was a heck of a great battle. Thanks for watching. Sorry it took a little while, with my mom's surgery, the granddaughter coming, and also in the middle of between turns I was painting 2 squadrons of coalition cavalry, so it was nice to get that all done. I'm up to 6 now, so plenty more to go, but at least I wanted to have 6 for a little bit to get it started. And yeah, so we started with 2 at the beginning of this, and now I'm at 6, so that's very acceptable. I had 2 more done before I even started, Austrian ones. All right, well, you guys are phenomenal. I'm gonna have to reach out to Dom. I'm gonna get an update on how he's doing with the Swedes. At the end of the day, it's I'm the main person behind this campaign. So if he just is too busy, he's got too much going on, I'll fight that battle if I have to. I'll use black powder 2nd edition just to basically get it done quickly, and my British will proxy in for my for the Swedes if I need to go that route, and I'll just use my French for the Polish under Poniatowski for his corps. That way you'll have a complete battle. I think I can get a black powder battle done probably in one sitting. It's pretty, if I remember correctly. It's been a little while, but yeah, it shouldn't be anywhere near a General Desarmées game. Might not have the flavor, but it definitely can get you results pretty quickly. There'll be 2 basically non-linear armies charging into each other. Should be pretty good. I think the Swedes are pretty good. I go back and read the emails between Dom and Scott where they were discussing the guards of the Swedish guards. So they should be pretty awesome. This was a great fight, and yeah, as we discussed early in the battle, as I look from the north to the south, the coalition line gets weaker as it goes that direction. I was 2nd from the top. The Swedes are up here to north of me with a pretty even fight. But General Bulow put up an awesome defense, inflicted a lot of casualties. Did lose some guys, but he was fighting for his capital. And we'll see what happens on Dom's table. If not, I'll jump in and help. I don't mind. So we'll figure it out, and I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed this, and second everything's done, we'll get you basically a synopsis of the entire battle.